Okie dokie, we are back with another episode of Espresso with Aaron and Sarit. And today, stick around, my friends, because we're going to be talking about self-confidence. And what came first? Weight loss or self-confidence? Because a lot of people think that when I lose weight, then I will be confident.
The pot at the end of the rainbow.
The pot at the end of the rainbow. So yes, thank you for tuning in today. We're excited to come at you with how many ways? 3 ways to become undeniably confident. Yes, it does matter the shape of our bodies to our minds. We're visual creatures. We go by what we see, especially when we look in the mirror. And so some of it is not even just about what other people think, but it's about what we think other people think. And so visual, yes, is one of the things, but there's a lot deeper rooted things that create confidence that also actually help you lose weight. So those are the things that are going to be more impactful, which we're going to be talking about with you today.
Yeah, it's kind of like this cycle. It's like you gain confidence and the physical appearance keeps changing, and as the physical appearance keeps changing, then you gain more confidence, and on it goes.
But Sarit, how do I get confident if I haven't done anything or if I haven't lost the weight yet?
So we're going to talk about that today. Now, I just want to put a stake on the ground real quick and talk about like just my belief system, because I think that in the day-to-day world that we live in, society has become really soft. And, I believe that we live in this world of like, oh yeah, like just love yourself anyways. And I mean, I get that you are enough, but if you know that you're not, that you're meant for greatness, you're not okay with enough.
True.
You're not okay with enough. If you know that this is you, then let me see you say amen in the chat.
Actually, you know what too? Like if you're okay with enough, you'll never have it.
Yeah.
If you're okay with enough, you'll never have enough. What do I mean by that? Let me try to dissect what I mean. If you're okay with enough, you're not okay. Like, how am I trying to say this? If we're not evolving, we're dying. If we're not getting better at something or improving at something or having a purpose towards something, we feel useless. So it's not okay. We're not okay. It's not enough.
If we're not growing, we're dying.
Right. So if there's not, it's like, okay, by default, at least the people who show up here, maybe there's a different type of breed, but at least the people who show up here, when you, let's say you run a mile and it's timed and it's timed and you see your time. And then the next time, even if you're satisfied with your time, even if you're satisfied with your time, even if it's a good time, even if you're proud of yourself, like that was good, there's a next step. And everybody who wants to continue improving understands there's a next step. What do I got? How do I train so that I can improve that time? Because the next time you go run that mile, you know the time and you're like, I want to get a better one. Why? Isn't it enough? Why do you want to get a better time? Why do you want to do this better? Why do you want to do that better? Why do I want to help more people than I did last year? Because it's significance.
As a matter of fact, it's more than significance. It's everything in life is meant to grow and evolve. In the book, The Science of Getting Rich is really talking about the evolution of life. Just like a seed is meant to grow. A seed is not meant to be a seed. And the same thing goes for us human beings. Like we are not meant to stagnate. And it's also the reason why unless as a person, and I'm speaking about myself, I'm speaking, just in general terms, like if I don't do my part in getting better each and every single day, I'm going to fall behind because evolution is happening anyways.
You didn't let me finish.
Sorry.
It's not just about significance. I agree. It's also about purpose. If I'm not striving for something, what am I doing? If I'm not going for a promotion, if I'm not trying to get in better shape or have better health or improve my, performance in one way or another, if I'm not trying to improve a relationship, if I'm not growing myself, if I'm not growing my business, if I'm making a bigger impact on the world, what am I doing? Right? So it also has to do with having a sense of purpose and like, I'm here for something. And when we don't have that, that's where we get depressed. I'll tell you, it could happen on a day-to-day basis. It could happen on a chronic basis. Yesterday, I actually, before we went live on the last video yesterday, I was having a little pity party for myself. And I felt this, I used the word depression as a, like, literally depressed, right? Like, not up, but down, right? And I was feeling these feelings where if you're a human being, you will from time to time. It doesn't mean that you immediately need a medication. Oftentimes it means you immediately need to confront yourself. And yesterday I was feeling this. And so because I have built the habit of becoming a deep thinker and I asked myself why, I got into really, it felt like I didn't know what I was doing, where I was going, what direction I was headed in that moment, or even in a bigger picture. Now, when we get clarity, when we get clear, when we have an intention, when we know what direction we're going, when we know what we're working towards, all of a sudden it's like, oh, let me just get clear on what are the steps. Oh, let me get clear on who I need to be connected with. Oh, let me get clear on what program I need to buy, like get into or invest in, or
that's good,
where I spend my time. And you get clear. When you have clarity, the fog goes away and you're like, let's go.
Confidence comes from taking action. Now, before we talk about the steps, so back to what we're talking about, that we believe that enough is not enough. This is what this country is founded upon. This is a capitalistic country, and that's what capitalism is all about. It's about the pursuit of being better each and every single day, rather than everybody stay the same all the time. No, nothing in life
like
is the same,
else.
Right? So that's thing number one. And along with that, I also believe that our appearance matters. Our appearance is going to either open more opportunities for us or close more opportunities for us. I'll actually share with you a story. Had it not been for a reputation that I built because of how I looked, I would have not met Aaron.
True. So looks are not everything, but they are something.
Yeah. And also, looks give you confidence. Let's be honest, like the makeup industry. Like, I wish we could look this up. How many billions of dollars are the makeup industry? Like Kylie Jenner by herself is like more than $1 billion a year. And I
think it's a gazillion.
And that's just one makeup brand. Like, why do men too, care about makeup? Because we care about how we look. We want to hide the imperfections, and we want to blow up, glow up, whatever you call it, anything else. So let's be real about it. Let's be honest about it. Like, how you look matters.
You know what's interesting too? Actually, so I just am thinking about this, and these are my own thoughts. These are my own thoughts. Write it. These are my own thoughts. Okay, so this is interesting. So, the most confident people that I know, and when I am in my most confident self, I don't need makeup. However, I utilize it because I don't know if it's a matter of, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it an oxymoron? I don't know what it is, but it's like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but something that is funny that I did think about is like, when we are trying to hide something, that's where the issue comes in. What am I trying to hide? Now, am I utilizing, everything comes back to overcompensation. What's intention is everything, right? So am I utilizing this thing or that thing to hide from something, to cover up something, to not expose something because I'm afraid to be embarrassed or whatever, or am I using something to create a, I don't know, to not escalate, not elevate, not expand, but like make the presence like stronger or
Enhance.
enhance. Yes. So it's like, look, I'll tell you something. If I want to stand out for a certain reason, I'm okay to not wear makeup. No problem. I'm okay to wear a t-shirt and shorts. I don't care. Great. But if I want to stand out, I will utilize the tools that I have to be like, boom, I'm here. You know what I mean? So,
good. And this is great.
It's a tool.
This is great. This is a great segue, because your body is either a liability or an asset, like as far as a representation, because no matter what, we're evolutional creatures in a sense that, like, just like your dog, if you have a dog, go ahead and drop dog in the chat. It's like so yesterday we actually had a squirrel on the mesh of like our outside area.
Oh gosh.
And he was looking down, and both Boogie and Callie were looking at it. So Boogie and Callie were looking at it even when the window was closed. Why? Because they're evolutional creatures. Whenever they see something, they're like, either I am the predator or I am the prey. And based on that, I'm going to respond to it.
It's instinct
or
only.
It's instinct, right? So it's like, is it safe? Is it dangerous? Or is it going to be, like an opportunity, whether it's to eat it, to mate with it,
but there's not even an emotional thought process.
No.
Do I want to? It's like this instinctual. This is what I do.
Right. So with human beings, it's absolutely the same thing. And I believe that this is why we care about how we look. Please go ahead and drop an I in the chat if you're like, yes, I know, I care about how I look. I believe that we all care about how we look, whether we like it or not, because we are evolutional creatures. And there's a message that we send to others based on how we look. And actually, I was listening to a podcast the other day. It was by Bedros Koulian. He's awesome. And he said, how you look is a representation of how you feel. And I was like, profound. I believe that this is why, like, we care about looking a certain way, because you guys, you cannot be 400 pounds and feel great about yourself. You cannot. Like when your organs are suffocating and you have a hard time breathing when you're tying your shoes, and you if God forbid, like Boogie sees a squirrel and like latches onto the leash, and my heart starts racing and I can barely even like chase him, and now he's trying to go and attack another dog. Like, there's no way that I can feel great about myself if I cannot do the basics of life.
I've never been 400 pounds, but if I were to imagine it, I would agree.
Well, you were 180 pounds and you felt like, what was the word that you used to describe it?
A lot of words.
Right. So, I mean, I can only imagine what it's like.
It's just hard. No matter what, it's hard on your body.
Right.
It's hard on your body. And 99.9% of the time, it's hard on your mind.
Yeah.
Because also your brain is affected by your hormones, and your hormones are affected by what you put in your body and what the shape of your body and the health of your body. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about confidence. So now I want to let's all be human for a moment. Can we? Great. Be honest. And I'll know by your answer if you're being honest or not. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. When you are walking past somebody on the sidewalk, okay? Let's say you're walking your dog. Let's go back to the scenario. You're walking your dog, and you see somebody else coming at you. What are the first senses that you utilize to assess the situation? You have sight, you have taste, you have sound, you have touch, you have smell. What's the first sense that you use?
I know.
To assess the situation. You have no other choice. It's your eyes.
Right.
It's your sight. You can't smell them. Hopefully not, if they're that far away. God bless. You can't touch them yet. They're not close enough. Okay. You see them. Okay. You can probably hear them. Okay. Fair. You could hear them, but you look. And if you see somebody who's coming at you, and let's say it's a 300-pound jacked dude with his hood up who's walking at you fast, what are some assessments you start to think? He could be coming after me. He could be dangerous. He could for sure overtake me unless I can run faster.
He might want to take something from me. He
right.
might want to
you don't
hurt
know.
me.
You don't know. The only thing that you have to go off of is actually, it's three things. Okay. Your sight, your sound, and your energy.
Your intuition.
The energy. Okay. So if one of the first things I do is look, I'm assessing everyone, and everyone is assessing me. Call it assessment, call it judgment, call it whatever you want. Now, there's a difference between like assessing and I think there's a difference between assessing and judging. Assessing is neutrally looking at a situation. Judgment is like, you're a piece of shit because of something about you. I don't know, without knowing that person, right? Or taking something out of context. But you use visual. We use visual. Right. So if I'm coming up to, if I'm having a conversation with somebody and is as surface level and shallow as it may seem, you're having a conversation with somebody that's wearing a torn up hoodie and they kind of smell bad and they're wearing one shoe. I don't know what happened to the other one. And their dog looks skinny, like it's really hungry. You make an assessment that this person might be homeless. Right? It doesn't necessarily make you bad. It just it's how human beings are like, how do we move along this earth? How do we navigate our circumstances? It's nature. Okay. So when you look a certain way, you also to yourself, because let's be real, when you're judging yourself, that is the only judgment that truly matters, and God. But when you're looking in the mirror, it doesn't matter if your girlfriend is like, oh my God, you look so good. If you get home at night and you take your dress off and you go to get in the shower and you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and you double take and you're like, whoa, it doesn't matter how good somebody else thinks you look. It doesn't matter how, like, you and your opinion of you is the only thing that matters. And visual is one of them. Okay. Can we talk about the rest of them now?
Yeah. So I believe that the number on the scale does not determine your level of confidence, and also the trajectory in which you are proceeding does. What do I mean by that? We can take two people. Person number one weighs 175 pounds, has a confidence level of 9 out of 10, and feels like she's the most confident she's ever been. Meanwhile, person number two could weigh 130 pounds and has a confidence level of 2. Why is that? So,
self-perception.
Self-perception is based on what, though?
Action.
Right. It is based on action, based on the promises that you made to yourself. There is a way to get around the number on the scale. Now, the trajectory at which you're moving has everything to do with the level of confidence that you're building, because ultimately, here's a question for you guys. Why do you care to have confidence? Like, and in one sentence, like, don't write a paragraph, just one sentence. I'll tell you why.
Well, how about you say why you care about confidence?
I'll tell you why I care about confidence. I care about confidence because when I am confident, I know that I am trustworthy. And if I am not trustworthy to myself, if I do not follow through with what I said that I was going to do, then how the heck are you going to trust me?
That's interesting, because your reason why you appreciate confidence is different than me.
Okay, what's yours?
So yours is about trusting yourself. And now that I'm thinking about it, it kind of probably goes deep into what are things that we either lacked when we were younger or have trauma around or something like that. Because for me, when I think about self-confidence, when I am confident, I can create a life I'm excited to wake up to. I can be okay having conversations with the right people. I cannot be afraid to say, hey, I have this amazing product or service and you should buy it because it's going to tremendously help you. And I'm not afraid to say it. When I have confidence, I can, I feel like the way that I show up and my energy gets me opportunities. I get seen. If I'm seen, then people who have opportunities are like that person's a go-getter. Like, so for me, it's about creating, like having the tools and the energy to create a life that I'm excited about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for me, it's trust.
To feel.
And the reason why trust matters to me is because it allows me to make courageous decisions.
Look, Sherilyn said to set a good example for the next generation. So your confidence sets an example for the next generation, and that gives you something. So what does that give you? Purpose? What does that give you?
Yeah.
So to be able to achieve what I desire, basically everybody wants to live a good life.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to get what they want. No?
Yeah. So when you are confident, you have a different level of respect for yourself. Let's take another case study.
And you also get confidence by having more respect.
Hold on. We're gonna go there in just a second.
Chicken or the egg?
So if you have ever broken your word, and one night, maybe you had a binger with your food and one bite of ice cream turned to a pint or one cookie turned to an entire sleeve. You woke up the next morning, by the way, drop a B for binger if you ever have been there. I have been there. And what do I know? You wake up the next morning feeling the G word, guilty, guilty, guilty. When you feel guilty, you have no self-respect.
Guilt is one of the lowest frequencies.
Yes. And is it also any wonder why once you feel bad about yourself, it is also really easy to continue to make the same decisions. Why? Because you're not respecting yourself, you're not respecting your body, you're not making decisions on how will this make me feel, what will this do to my confidence, because like, oh God, like, you know, like just shove it up your mouth, like I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like just being like completely honest. Right? So like to the degree that you're able to lead yourself with self-respect, you will also be able to get respect from others. Because in life, you get what you tolerate. It's standards.
You also get what you put out. So it's just respect in general, respect for life, respect for yourself, respect for other people. And when that's the energy you put out, your actions align.
Yeah.
Your actions begin to align. So what does that look like in practical application or real life? When I respect myself, I eat healthy. Mm-hmm. When I respect myself, I move my body. Mm-hmm. When I respect myself, I don't talk shit to myself. Think about somebody that you respect. Would you walk up to them and say some of the things that you say to yourself when you see yourself in the mirror? Probably not. For the majority. Now, there's some people who have been here for a while who have done some of that work, right? And we've learned and we've created new habits, and that's amazing. One of the greatest habits we could create is saying kind things to ourselves, mm-hmm. especially when we can become aware quickly when we're not, mm-hmm. and change it. Literally happened to me yesterday. And it's a superpower that you develop. You're not born with it. Nobody's mm-hmm. born with it. Our society that we live in right now is very negative, and it is so easy to say what's wrong with me, what's not good about me, what am I not good at, what am I missing out on, what do I not want, what's all the negative. Mm-hmm. And so a superpower you can develop, a super skill, let's call it, is the ability to quickly become aware and shift. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think anybody's immune to it. We live in it. It's like if you live in a pig pen, nobody's immune to mud, right? But how quickly can you clean it off?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the next reason why confidence is important, because in order for you to feel confident, you got to be able to be in control. Now, I'm not telling you control everything in life, because the reason why it's actually important to be in control is because there's so many unforeseen things that are going to happen. So like Erin's example from yesterday, for example, it is a superpower when, let's say you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or some kind of spirit hit you that day. To be able to stand tall and be unwavered, regardless of the external circumstances, makes you a powerful human being. How many times have you heard someone in your life, maybe it was you, and maybe you even said that yesterday, I was so good until this happened? This is being a victim to our own circumstances. So when you are able to be in control of you, regardless of the external circumstances, that gives you power. And that sense of power gives you confidence. And I believe, because life is it's an evolution. What was yesterday is not today. What your body was yesterday is not what it is today. What you weighed yesterday morning is not the same thing that you weighed today. Okay? Everything constantly changes. And when you are able to be in control of your actions, despite of the external circumstances, now more than ever, this is truly important. Because again, you can trust yourself to do difficult things. Imagine if there is a storm around you, right? And you are like an anchor on the ground. Like, yes, I see the storm, like it's blowing in every direction. Actually, that's what palm trees do. That's what makes palm trees really special. Palm trees, and that's why you'll see palm trees in climates that have hurricanes. Notice, like, palm trees don't actually go down when there is hurricanes. Why?
Because they bend. They don't break.
They bend. They don't break, right? So imagine being able to stand tall, stand composed, regardless of what the external circumstances look like. And you have to be able to control you. Do not try to control circumstances outside of you. No. Because there's actually very little externally that you can control. But when you are able to control you, despite the external circumstances, you're going to be able to overcome anything. For all of you, confidence gives you something. And when you are that something, what do you get in return? So, for me, confidence gives me, I develop confidence when I am able to trust myself. And the reason why it's important for me to feel confident, it's because when I trust myself, I can make courageous decisions. And actually, courageous is the first word in my contract, which is kind of interesting.
Nobody knows what that is.
It's kind of like a promise that I made to myself.
It's a character trait that you describe yourself as.
Yeah. So there is something there is a word that makes you feel confident. And when you are confident, you're able to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know what that thing is for you, but you need to get clear on that. Because when you are that, you're feeling some kind of control, even when shit goes sideways. Yeah, go for it.
The cool thing about a palm tree is, and the lesson that we can take from it too, is in a storm, like no matter what storms are going to happen in our lives, you can't avoid them. And a palm tree is flexible enough to maneuver the circumstances. So it's not so rigid that it's like, no matter what, I have to be this way and do. It's like if I have, an hour of cardio planned, and that sounds terrible. 30 minutes. Let's do this. If I've got, 30 minutes of cardio planned, and my kid, I get a call from the school. My kid is sick and I got to go pick him up right at the time I was going to do that. Oh my God, you got to be flexible enough to maneuver, but strong enough to hold your ground, meaning still do what you said you were going to do, somehow, some way, get it done. Okay, so you got to go pick up your kid from school. Do freaking squats and lunges and sit-ups and something in your house so you can be with your kid and get your 30 minutes in that you promised yourself. Don't make it a reason why you can't, because that is like, even if we want to try to justify it as much of it, it's such a real reason. And sometimes there are freak emergencies that, yes, you're like, I have no freaking, but really what it has to do with is your current level of self-leadership has or does not have the ability to figure it out and make it work. So either you'll be like, I can't, simply because you said you can't, your brain doesn't even try to figure out how. And this is like a little tangent, but the point is about a palm tree is like, be flexible enough to like maneuver through life and changes and unexpected events, but strong enough to hold your ground and still do what you said you're going to do at least 99% of the time.
That's good.
Right?
That's good.
And you know what, this year, like, I think last year I got a little bit soft. Let me tell you how, because I don't want you to run into this same thing. Last year I got a little bit soft because I allowed to seep into my aura the idea of people's feelings. They're valid, so I understand that. And what happened was I cared more about what somebody would feel than how I could serve them, and I didn't serve them. Let me say it in another way.
Powerful. This
year, you get to get hard. Get hard. Don't let shit people say to you hurt your feelings, and then your feelings cause you to not do something that you said you were going to do because I had a bad day, or my boss said this to me, or somebody said. Nothing anybody says or does to you is actually a reflection of you. Whatever I'm experiencing in my own world right now is creating this, right? So what I want to encourage you to do is don't be soft. Don't take your own excuses. Don't take other people's excuses. Step out into discomfort to get better, and don't settle for you're enough. You are, and there's more. You are enough, and there's more. So that has nothing to do with self-confidence. That's just something that I want to say to you this year, because I really want to inspire and encourage you to, like, it's okay to be tough on yourself too. I wouldn't be where I am if I weren't tough on myself. And there's a harmony, right? There's times where I get to have grace. The problem is that way too many have used grace as justifications and excuses to not do anything, to be soft. So if I say, oh, I didn't get my workout in today, and forgive myself and da-da-da. Yes, be kind to yourself. Yes, have grace on yourself, but also don't give yourself an easy way out. Nothing great comes from the easy way out.
And here's why. Because sometimes all that it takes is one excuse to start opening the door.
True. Yes.
So
it's a gateway drug.
So I'll share with you, it happens in our house all the time. What happens when I have the office door open just ever so slightly?
It gets open more?
Yeah, the dogs just like walk in, and what is like a little bit of like, oh, Erin won't even hear it. Like it ends up happening with the dogs come in, and then I either like swoop to the side and shut the door off, or Erin just walks and shuts the door. So like all that it takes is one thing. Everything matters. And this is why action really matters. And this is why confidence is built by how are you tracking and are you being intimate with the actions that you're taking or the actions that you're not taking? For example, do you have your journal next to you? My journal is in the office.
What are you wanting?
So in our journal, we have like targets that we get to accomplish each and every single day. If you're in any of our coaching programs, like literally this is how we coach you. Not by telling you, oh yeah, like just go weigh yourself every single day. It ain't about that. And here's something that we know too. When you are being super honest with yourself, by the way, if you're not being honest and you are paying for someone to coach you and you care more about trying to look good than being honest, then it's only going to derail you. Because ultimately, your confidence is not built by
how you please somebody else.
How you please somebody else. Because by the end of the day, you got you. By the end of the day, you got you. So when you are able to know that you're being true to you every single day, then guess what? You're going to build confidence. I would rather, when I work with someone, I would rather them be honest with me and understand when they fall short so that I can coach them through their gaps versus them trying to look good on the outside and then they're actually lying to themselves. You're the one suffering, not me.
I want to give a more detailed example though. So, if we've got like a one-on-one client, we'd rather them completely shit the bed and be honest about it than have, I just had, like a half a Snickers bar, but they don't say anything because that lives inside you. And guess what? When it lives in you and you don't get it out and you don't say anything, it becomes a cancer and it builds and it grows and it infects other parts of you. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So when you don't tell a truth, it's also known as a lie. And when the truth is expected to be told from you because you're paying somebody to help you, what happens then is you make a little exception here and you make a little exception there and you make a little exception there. And then all of a sudden your whole life falls apart and you're like, I'm paying for coaching and I didn't lose any weight and I don't know why. Because you didn't say you ate half a Snickers. Okay. I didn't mean to yell at you. But that's the thing is like, would rather you completely crash and burn and say, hey, this is what happened. Here's all the dirty details.
Yeah.
What happened? How do I sort it out? How do I fix it?
Because ultimately every action, lack of action, resistance of action is an opportunity to build your reputation. So you got to look at it
with yourself.
Yes, you got to look at it from a long-term mindset. And this is one of like the biggest problem in society right now because everything is so instant. Like, what do you mean long-term? Do you mean like 30 days? No, I mean like
6 months.
3 years long-term. So like every single day you build your reputation. Yesterday in my journal, I gave myself a 0. Because what didn't work is that I put too much on my plate and I did not follow through with everything that I set out to do. So I'm calling myself forward on it, right? And last night we were talking about, okay, like what were the gaps and how do we get to shift that versus, oh yeah, like, I just did this thing. So yeah, like I can do it another day. Like, sure, I can do it another day. But if I give myself slack about it, then I'm going to give myself slack for other things and everything big starts small, for better or for worse.
Wait, pause. Give him a moment to digest that. Everything big starts small.
Everything big starts small. So like, let's take when you want to lose weight, you didn't get to where you get to like just overnight. It didn't just like, oh my God, like I woke up one day and I was 20 pounds heavier. No. It didn't happen that way. It happened because it was like one small thing that you started
one peanut
tolerating.
M&M.
Maybe like one little mini Snickers bar, like after lunch, not a big deal. I have a sweet
just
tooth.
One drink.
Yeah, just, not a big deal. To then one glass of wine because it was a really long, stressful day. The compound effect. Every single day, listen, like in life, we're dealing with the compound effect. So when you are understanding that your actions build your reputation, which compounds over time, you want to make sure that you're being very honest with yourself. Because that little one Snickers bar, guess what? 365 days later is, can we see how many calories are in a Snickers bar? Like in a mini bite? Can one of you guys check and drop it in the chat? Probably 50 calories. Not a big deal. It's only 50 calories. Like when I walk my dog, I'm going to burn it off without even trying. 365 days later, like we're talking about 20,000 calories.
Yeah,
that's like 7 pounds.
And let's be honest, because one Snickers leads to what? Not just one more Snickers the next day.
Yeah.
For some of us, it's like the whole fucking bag of mini candies.
Yeah.
So yes. Okay. So moral of this whole episode, or I guess a recap, if you will, is self-confidence doesn't come first from getting in great shape. It requires you to take action and do the things that make you confident, like sticking to your word. When you say you're going to work out, work out. When you say you're going to wake up at a certain time, wake up at a certain time. When you say you're going to write a certain amount of emails, write a certain amount of emails. And self-confidence comes from repetitive, little thing here, little thing there, little thing there, little thing there. And then, and having that respect with yourself and building a great reputation of trust with yourself. And eventually too, that leads to a sort of confidence that is like, I care more about what I think than what other people think about me. I still care about what other people think because it's feedback for me on how I'm representing myself, on how I am, what energy I have going out into the world on. Of course, I care what Sarit thinks about me. She's my wife. Hopefully I would, right? So I care, but I care more about what I think about me than what somebody else does, because what somebody else thinks about you can also oftentimes be taken out of context and not be an accurate thought. So the fact that somebody would, like, you can look, I can look at a piece of your life. I can look at a social media post you made. I can look at one thing that you said, and I can, know exactly what that thing was, but I cannot subscribe to the thought that I know what you're thinking and I know all of the other pieces involved in that thing, right? So my opinion of me is more significant, the most significant than any other physical person in this world's opinion of me.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
And this is why your opinion of you is more important than anybody else's opinion of you, because people are going to give you an opinion based on their own context, level of understanding, and their perception.
Example, if somebody's rich, this is like an easy topic to talk about that a lot of people understand. When there's a rich person, or if I stood here and I was like, I want to have a lot of money, people are going to think different things. Mm-hmm. I said the same thing to everyone, but the way they heard it was different. Why? Based on their experience of life, based on their experience of what rich means, based on the story that somebody told them that rich means. Yep. Oh, you're, it could mean to one person, you're greedy, you're selfish, you're a bad person, you cheated people. And to somebody else, it could mean, oh my gosh, you have influence and you have respect and you have made an impact and you are generous and you can give to a lot of people. Why? It doesn't have anything to do with what I said that I want. It has everything to do with the way that we grew up, what stories we heard, what things people said to us, and what stories we've created out of all of that experience. Yep. Okay. So again, going back to create a reputation for yourself that you are proud of with yourself. Mm-hmm. Okay. The next thing is be intentional about what you're tolerating. Don't tolerate friends that are not friends. Don't tolerate fake friends that are going to be your friend when it's convenient for them, or that are going to be on your side and going for you when you're doing what they want to do.
Or when it's time to celebrate and, raise a toast. But when you're going through the trenches, it's like,
hold on. I just want to give like a recap.
Okay.
A recap. And then, respect yourself, and create a good reputation with yourself through your actions. Be intentional about what you're tolerating. Stick to your word so that you can get trust with yourself. And then there was another one too. I forget what it was. We talked about it and it was kind of like added in here last minute.
You want to be able to be in control.
Anyways, those are the things that build confidence. And when you do those things, somehow miraculously your body falls into place. It's crazy, because when you think, I respect myself, so I eat well. Well, then when you eat well, your body changes. I respect myself, so I move my body. And then when you do that, your body changes. So it's the actions, it's the thought process, it's the who you be that creates the what you look like.
Your body keeps score, and your body also measures how trustworthy are you. So when you show a certain level of consistency, then your body, it doesn't matter what you did before. When you start to build consistency, your body eventually learns to trust. Your body is a unit of energy, just like any other unit of energy. You go ahead and get cheated, and if you keep on tolerating that relationship, it's going to take a lot of repair, time and consistency for repair. So same thing goes with your body. Let's say you've cheated on your body, you've taken it on really wild rides. You're not just going to expect your body to trust you overnight when the context has been different. So we hope that you found value in today's content, and really the intention is to hone in on the seeds that are going to bear the fruit that you want in your life. Because it's easy to say, oh yeah, new year, new me. Our intention in 2024 is to build this community to become the most confident and the most badass version of yourself, of themselves. And it starts with us. It starts with our leadership, and it ends with you. So we can show up here all day and coach you guys, inform you guys. By the end of the day, what you do about it is what's going to make the biggest difference.
Yeah. And we're going to have some really cool things coming for you guys this year. Usually this is the time of year we would be running some kind of group coaching program or something like that. And really what we want to do is just create something so profound that you can't not win. You can't not get confident. You can't not get in great shape. You can't not sure, there's always going to be a percentage of people that fail, but the better we can increase your odds, the happier we all are going through this journey together. And that's what it's all about, is the connection is currency, right? Connection, that currency creates wealth. And I don't just mean financially. Sure, financially, I want you all to be rich and happy as long as you're good people. But at the same time, I want you to be wealthy in your life. I want you to wake up and be freaking excited to what you've created, and just give me the honor of being a part of that journey with you, and knowing that somehow, some way I contributed to that. That's what I want.
Amen.
Okay. So when we do put things out there, we'll let you know, and it's going to be great. So keep your eyes out. And action step.
Yeah. So today you're going to make room for what matters, because what matters is you building your reputation. So one of the simplest way to make room for what matters is by letting something go, something that doesn't serve you. That can be a piece of clothing that maybe is allowing you to stay comfortable and have those extra couple Snickers, or that could be the half a wine a bottle that you said, oh yeah, maybe next month because dry January or whatever. What is the one thing that's keeping you comfortable? Go get real with yourself and just let it go today. Eliminate it.
And then hashtag ES Army Strong.
Hashtag it ES Army Strong 2024. It's time for you to start building some callous skin, because when you are prepared, nothing can stop you. And that's what it's all about. It's about you becoming unstoppable. Okay, beautiful people. So that being said, that does it for today's episode. We will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. And in the meantime, go
Be fabulous.
Get rid of what doesn't serve you. Bye.
Bye.